And the power of J-Skull!
Yes. Welcome to another episode, guys. Today we got a big one to talk about. We are if you've been watching the last couple of episodes, we decided that we would watch the pilot episodes of all the He-Man shows, animated stuff throughout the decades.
And we've made it to that one.
Yeah, so we are actually doing the pilot episode for the New Adventures of He-Man. So, if you remember that from 1990.
Nobody remembers that.
No one remembers it at all.
And they had like 67 episodes. I thought they only had like 13. There's 60 some odd episodes of this show and no one remembers it.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
crazy.
it's so drastically, and we'll get into it. And so design-wise, so drastically different from the other one. And what's shocked me is this is actually in continuity. In that Adam, like from the filmation, this is in continuity with that series. This is actually just the next step in Adam's journey, and I was shocked to find that out because it's so visually different. And it's missing so many characters.
It is. It's missing characters. It's missing costumes. Yeah. And they seem to... Everybody else got a minus, but Skeletor got a face somehow. And I don't know how that works out.
Yeah, it's overly perfect teeth.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, I was shocked to find that out. But nevertheless, like I said, I should show some images of what we're talking about. We're talking about the design-wise. This is a classic shot here. As you can see, He-Man's rather different now, looking very different. He has pants now. It's probably the biggest thing that stands out. His pants and his bob haircut has been completely removed, but short.
That's okay. That's okay. And I don't even mind the pants because the fur bikini was kind of weird. If you really think about it.
Yeah.
Skeletor is what I got the problem with, though.
Never skipped leg day.
No.
Skipped leg day. Skeletor is the one that makes the major difference here from the filmation, isn't it? Major difference.
He's cross-eyed.
Yeah.
In every shot, he's cross-eyed, and I don't understand why. And he's got buck teeth.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's not. They've moved away from that skull look so drastically, and I have no idea why. But you know what? In a way, you can kind of tell how they got to this point. I mean, there you go. He's always cross-eyed, like you said. And look at those teeth. Too perfect. But you can see how they got to this point, can't you? You can see how it happened. And it's because if you look at He-Man, the Master of the Universe, the filmate, the first one, and then we see She-Ra, and we see that improving graphically and all that. By the time this series comes out, which comes out in 1990, what's the biggest thing in the cartoon world, toy-wise? It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes, and of course they're called the Mutants.
Exactly. There is so much of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles influenced on this series, design-wise, I believe, hey? For that was a Slushhead? Is it Slushhead?
Slushhead, yes. I wrote down all the bad guys' names because I knew I wouldn't remember them.
Yeah.
There was Slushhead, Hoove, Optic, and the mutant leader was called Flog.
Flog.
There. And the dude with the machine gun hand, I don't think he ever got a name in this episode, or at least I don't remember it.
No. But, I mean, straight away, because you've decided to go so different, like, design-wise, it's back against the wall straight away. I don't know what they were thinking. Especially finding out it's in continuity, that you had an opportunity to let everybody know that we're updating things, this is organically changing, and you could have done it with this episode. Can we get into it?
Yeah, just have He-Man put on new clothes whenever he got there. Have somebody spray Skeletor with ooh, your face looks bad. Let's spray it with some healing potion. Oh, look, now you got a face. But look at it! Look at it!
Exactly.
I don't know. They weren't interested in bridging the two series at all. There was just no interest, no respect for what came before, and it's so evident.
I mean, we're 8 years in this franchise at this point on television, from 82 to to like 1990, and like I said, I just think at the time when you have things like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Batman is like big out there and they made pop culture and things like that. He-Man was taking, so it was clearly an attempt to try to stay relevant with that young audience, because it was a new generation by then, wasn't it? It's a new generation.
It was, yeah.
So, and I wanted to get that out of the way first, Jason, because, and we'll get into our thoughts now, is the fact that story-wise and some of the character arcs or the way they've created these characters is actually quite superior in my mind.
In a way,
there's a lot
yes.
to not like about this, but there is some things to really like about this.
In a way, yes. I almost feel like this first pilot episode probably would have been better, and I do know that they had a 5-part, premiere that, kind of like what they did with She-Ra. But I honestly think this first episode should have been 5 parts, because I almost feel like it was rushed through, and there was so much that should have, the creator should have taken more time with. Adam saying goodbye to Eternia, for example, could have been an entire episode.
Well, I've got the synopsis here. Let's just read that before you go on.
Okay.
Just to give it, structure. So the synopsis is really difficult. It's called A New Beginning. And here it is. It's a long one. Hydron and Flipshot, and they're the 2 pilots, are sent by Master Cebrian to Eternia to find a champion of good to help them in their fight against the evil mutants of, how do you pronounce it?
Denebria? Isn't that where Dr. Phlox was from?
Yeah, Denebria, led by Flog. They have a run-in with Andros and are brought to Skeletor, who tricks him into thinking he's the good guy until He-Man shows up. He-Man and Skeletor's fight is taken to Primus, where He-Man proves that he's a good guy by fighting off the evil mutants, while Skeletor forms an alliance with the evil mutants.
Well, that's just the entire episode right there.
But there's a lot
Spoilers
going on,
and all.
as you were just about to start talking about.
Yes, I just honestly feel like it should have been slowed down, because you're right, as far as story goes, it's more sophisticated, it's more mature, but I don't think that they spent any time on it. You could have easily broken this up into 5 episodes. Introduce us to who Hydron and Flipshot are, because instantaneously, let's send Hydron and Flipshot, and I'm just sitting there watching it going, who? They're doing what now? Have an episode where, they meet Skeletor, and I don't know, why have the dude with the horns? Why couldn't that be, Trapjaw or Evil Lyn or somebody like that? If it's a couple of years later, maybe tell us, Trapjaw was defeated many years ago. The Beastman is the only one left here with Skeletor. You could have shown Skeletor's empire in decline, as they seem to be hinting at towards the end whenever, Eternia will have eternal peace now. You don't have to worry about us anymore. Okay, great. Didn't Skeletor have an army or something? Or are they just going to fall apart? I would have loved to have seen...
You just mentioned the King and Queen. I've got to say, and I don't have an image of it here, but I'm the only one to think that they were actually represented more like the original than anything else.
They were. Marlena was great, and Randor was a complete jackass. So yes, they were exactly as they were in the TV show. Although in my headcanon, I know Marlena was like, oh my gosh, our son is He-Man. I wanted her to say, yeah, I knew it. Because it's in my headcanon that she knows that Adam's He-Man.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just, to me, it was almost, as I said, a lack of respect to the original show that they showed no interest in bridging it whenever it would have been so much easier. It almost smelled like they were trying to avoid some kind of copyright or some kind of royalties by not using the original costumes or the original designs. And it hurt. I think I would have been a lot more apt to accept this show if they had done that. And I think that's the biggest broken leg of this show, is that immediately they alienate everyone who came from the original series.
Look, it's even down to the sword.
Why change the sword?
If I'm telling you, if you'd left the sword there, that would have even been enough connective tissue.
Yeah.
At this point. But you're right. This is a corporate decision. This can't.
It had to have been. I can't imagine this being an artistic choice.
Yeah. That's just too egregiously. I don't know. You want to update it and you want to evolve it, and like I said earlier, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, especially with the villains, is heavily influencing this show in a way.
See, I saw that, and I also thought that G.I. Joe was an influence, it's particularly whenever it came to, He-Man's allies, Hydron and Flipshot. To me, that's almost G.I. Joe names, and they had almost like G.I. Joe costumes. And even the animation looks like G.I. Joe. Although I do have to say, the animation in this series for being, early 90s, very nice. Yes. It almost has an anime influence to it, kind of like the old Ulysses 31 and, Voltron. It looks really good. I just wish that they would have respected the source material a little more.
Yeah, 100%. And with this show...
I'm sorry, I was laughing at that picture of Skeletor.
Which one? This one here?
Look at his face.
Yeah, I know.
He looks like the Mask. He looks if he rips it off, he's going to turn into Jim Carrey.
He looks very close to the animated version of the Mask. 100%.
Yes, he does. I was trying to remember who he reminded me of, and that's it. He's the Mask.
So we have two different Skeletors in this show. One that's drawn, and then one that's performed. Because the one that's drawn is very campy, comical, cross-eyed, like you said, perfect butt, giant teeth. And that makes it really comical. But it's the performance of the voice actor which I found interesting.
I have to agree.
Because I actually like this characterization of Skeletor quite a bit.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. Alan Oppenheimer is Skeletor. He's the original Skeletor. He will never be. He will never be beaten. Whenever Mark Hamill, who's like a grade A voice actor, takes on Skeletor, and the whole time you're listening, you're thinking, "Boy, I really miss Alan Oppenheimer." He's like 90, 95, and he can't do the voice anymore. That says something. But, and I wish I'd looked up the voice actor's name. Instead of copying Alan Oppenheimer doing Skeletor, he does something drastically different. And although we've been decrying, we've been decrying the drastically different about this TV show, but this works because he's very soft-spoken. He's almost like a friendly Skeletor, but there's this undercurrent of just pure malevolence to everything he does and everything he says. It's almost like, come closer, let me give you a hug, and then he'll twist your head off, and I loved that. It's
the gentlemanly approach he takes to Skeletor. It's the manipulative, demonstrative kind of approach, that demonstrative approach he has. It's just that scene, the scene we talked about earlier, and it's
with the guard, yes,
very a great look. You could have cut it out, but what a great little character development to see exactly what the Skeletor is all about is summed up in that scene.
Absolutely. And Alan Oppenheimer's Skeletor would have just screamed at the guy, "You bumbling boob!" But this one just talked to him so gently, but you could tell that there was fear there, and there was just this undercurrent of danger, and even the dialogue was kind of comical, but at the same time, it was just done so well. I have to give props to the voice actor of this, because he did something different. Something different. He did his performance was 180 degrees away from what I was expecting, and it works. In this entire TV show where very little seemed to work, that worked. So I have to give mad props.
He is more frightening because of his approach.
He is. I remember watching a stand-up comedian one time, and I cannot remember who it was for the life of me. I hope somebody in the comments does. But he said, if you were walking down a dark alley and somebody walked up to you going, "I'm going to kill you!" You're going to be like, okay, whatever. But if somebody walks up to you and says, "I'm going to kill you," you're going to be scared of that guy.
Yeah. 100%. And, like I said, it's just two different Skeletors, isn't it? I mean,
yes, and I love that.
Imagine that voice in a more traditional-looking Skeletor. I thought you would have had magic here. Absolute magic here. I think it wouldn't go against the GOAT. We all know the GOAT is the best. But I think you could generally move into this version and go with it.
Absolutely.
And I've only seen the first 2 episodes of this series, so
I'm an episode and a half
absolutely.
in. I couldn't make it through the second
Yeah,
episode.
yeah.
The second episode was boring, I thought.
Yeah. That's really about the council, isn't it?
Yeah, and
Who cares?
Who cares?
But essentially, I do like some of the villain designs as well. I thought they were different. I didn't mind them. But again, every time I looked at them, I go, oh yeah, it kind of reminds me of this character from... Because I wasn't really into... By the time Ninja Turtles come out, I'm like 15, so my head's somewhere else at that point. But yeah, I liked them. I thought the design was good, and it helps with good animation, like you said. That we were able to see, there's a couple of really good action scenes. I thought in this
There are, and they were animated very well.
The movements were quite good.
Yes, I have to admit the animation in this series looks great. It's just nothing else is, except for Skeletor.
I don't mind something. For me, it's like, where's Battle Cat? Where's Battle Cat? Why didn't Battle Cat come? How would you not have your best friend?
How could you not say goodbye to your best friend? That's what I
take him with you to this new adventure.
Yeah, because you know, Battle Cat Cringer would have come.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Orko would have come, Tila would have come. Maybe that's why he never said goodbye to them, because he knew that they were going to come with him. But at least have that scene where he says that. I just feel like, where's Man at Arms? Where's Ram Man?
They dug themselves a hole with the Secret of the Sword, didn't they? Because that was easily Battle Cat came along for the adventure.
Yeah. Cringer came along. He wasn't going to leave Adam behind.
No way. And played, as we said last week, an important role within that story.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I really couldn't get over that as one of the big things.
I almost feel like those characters were cheated, and I feel like they deserved more. At least a goodbye, at least a mention.
Yeah. Flipshot and Hydron don't work for me.
They're morons. They're absolute morons.
Especially Flipshot. Flipshot is made out to be, and he's the blue guy.
Yeah, he's the one with the stupid Batman helmet.
Yeah, like it just doesn't work, does it at all? Here we go.
Are absolute idiots.
You see his helmet on, yeah.
Gee, should we trust the guy with the skulls on his chest? Yeah, he's fine. He's fine. Let's not ask anybody. Let's not research. This guy seems up and up.
Yeah. 100, yeah, absolutely, and it's
I just look at that helmet. He looks like a knockoff Batman. He's just
yeah.
And then you've got Hydron, who's wearing his dive gear out of the water all the time.
I think here we go. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, for no apparent reason.
They look like they should be bad guys on the Tick.
Unbelievable.
The Y on his belt means yes. Y do suck.
But yeah, look, there's
the look, look of utter blankness on Flipshot's face. Just there's nothing going on behind those eyes.
No. What about Obi-Wan Kenobi? I don't know if I have an image of him here somewhere.
Sebrian?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I may get in trouble for saying this, but Sebrian gave me vibes where he would not, under law, be allowed within 1,000 feet of a school building.
Yes.
There was just something about the voice actor, his performances, and his choices that instead of making him seem like a wise old man, he made him sound like a creepy old man.
Yeah.
And he was always had this smile, like...
Just like, why are you trusting this old dude? Like,
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if later on he became a bad guy. I don't know.
Okay, another probably slight positive, because there's a lot terrible about this, is I don't think I hate the look of his face and the hair that they've done with, and the physique of He-Man.
No.
I don't like the sash at all. And the pants I can deal with. But the rest of it, I don't mind. I mean, because he needed a haircut.
He did, yes.
You had to give him a haircut. Though I like what they did with the figures, where they kind of gave him a flip here. Still gave him the same kind of hair, but there was a bit more to rather than just the classic Filmation. Someone put a bowl on his head and cut around it.
There were no barbers on Eternia. We all know. Now, I don't mind the new look. The sash is kind of it's too little. You know, I would have liked to have seen like the little cross back or something like that. But
yes,
I mean, the face and the hair don't look bad. And I didn't mind Adam's new look either. You know, in my head, this probably takes place years after the Filmation series. So yeah, people are going to change a little bit.
But you know what? I'm going to say, Adam, to me, and I haven't seen most of this episode, but if I was a betting man right now, that character does not play a massive part at all. Because in this episode, He-Man is the dominant. It feels like this version of He-Man is Adam and He-Man in one.
Yes, and I have to agree. I know the voices were different. I don't think that it was feasible to expect the same voices to come back, but Adam's voice was particularly grating. It almost sounded like somebody purposely and offensively trying to be effeminate.
Yeah, a little bit.
It was such a turnoff and so weird because I don't know.
Yeah, the He-Man, like the Adam from He-Man and Master of the Universe, the Filmation series, plays an integral part within that series, within most of the stories. He's not a passenger generally, I found, in that series, but he was a participant.
Yes.
And straight away, this first episode, I'm going, Adam is just a participant in this. He's a thing that they will use occasionally to get from point A to point B.
The occasional guest star, yes.
Hey, did you also think that the transition was quite average?
It was underwhelming. Very much so. I mean, the 80s series were all about flash and style and everything, and this one was just like, by the power of Grayskull, poof.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Dare I say, it lacked the power of that.
Exactly. It lacks the spectacle. That was something I enjoyed every day watching He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, and even She-Ra was that transformation. I loved it. I watched it, and this one, like I said, there's just no passion to this series. It seems like
no. So again, I think I get where they went with this series. And like I said, I've seen the first episode. Who knows where they go by the 67th episode? But just as someone who's observed, the first two, I can see how they got here. I can see why this version of He-Man exists. Why they went down this way from a corporate point of view, from a storytelling. I can see why they went down this pathway. It's just such a massive misfire.
It is. It is, and it's a shame.
And it really was the end of that era of really He-Man being, dominant in pop culture. No, it never was as dominant. But
I don't even think you could even count this as that part. I don't know. Like I said, nobody remembers this series now. I didn't even learn of this series until the early 2000s, and I was just kind of like, when did that happen? But it's just not good. It's not good. It's got a few good things sprinkled in, but overall, it's not good.
Yeah. You got any other nuggets in your notes there, mate?
Oh,
before we wrap this up?
My notes. Here we go.
Yeah.
The fact that they kept referring to He-Man as the Good, to me was it was so weird. Oh, have you brought back the Good? Well, I brought back the Okay. Is that all right? There was a part in the beginning, and I got to think of a way to put this, because as a teacher, I don't curse on the internet.
No.
But the little boy Kaz, who just appears in the very beginning, oh my gosh, they're trying to break through the shield. I want to go fight the mutants.
Yeah, that little
At one point, he says, I want to fight the mutants.
Yeah.
But the voiceover is so bad, it doesn't sound like he says the word fight. It sounds like he says something that rhymes with truck, starts with an F, and ends with a UCK, and is not fire truck. And I had to rewind it. I was like, did he just say what I think he said? Yeah. I don't kink shame, but come on, you're a little too young for that.
Yeah, that kid should be thinking about fucking mutants. No.
Okay, well, you said it, so I didn't have to. The mutants' ship looks like a giant flying turd.
Yeah, really poor design with the spaceships.
With spikes out of it, like a really painful one.
Series didn't just live off the back of the figures; it lived off the back also of the vehicles.
Yes.
You
And
know
that
what I mean?
it was
Like, some of those
yeah.
vehicles were insane from the original series, and the things that we all wanted, and very underwhelming.
Yes, incredibly underwhelming. Did you notice that the pilots in the mutant attack vehicles looked like that they had a combination of Stormtrooper and Darth Vader armor on? I thought that was
Yes.
really funny.
Yes.
Let's see. I said, Flipshot and Hydron being completely useless and dumb characters.
Especially Flipshot.
I really wish that I had thought about screen capping or recording the actual time travel where I think it was Flipshot was sitting in his chair going, "Whoa!"
Flipshot is now known. He's not Flipshot anymore. He's Dipshit in my mind. Because he is so grating and not funny in this episode.
Just awful. I mean, he was giving LeBron James screams a run for their money.
How did you even get through flight school?
Well, he was in the simulator for a reason. My favorite line from the whole episode, whenever Flipshot and Hydron show up in the past and that guy with the horn shows up, "Look, it's a stranger. Let's be friendly to him." What else were you planning to be? That's all I want to know.
It's the way it had to be articulated in that certain way.
Yes, it's a stranger. Let's be friendly. The old He-Man would be like, "No, we don't talk to strangers."
But Dipshit and Hydron now take on, if you remember at the end of the episode, they take on the duties in this one as the moral message.
They do, and it was such a dumb message too.
I can't even remember what it
if
is.
you're ever trapped in a car for 5 seconds, don't panic.
That's right, don't panic.
It's been 5 seconds. Who panics after 5 seconds?
We've just
mom
watched
doesn't-
the whole episode. We're in shock. We ain't going to panic.
Mom doesn't shut the minivan door and you go, "Rah!" You don't do that. Nobody does that. Flipshot's an idiot. I loved Skeletor in this episode, and I love that, Flipshot and Hydron, say, "Well, this was easier than I thought," and Skeletor kind of goes, "For you and me both." Even Skeletor thinks they're idiots.
I
will argue Skeletor's the only one in this episode with a personality, and that's why we like him.
He's 2 steps ahead in this whole entire episode. Is so great and refreshing for Skeletor.
And it's not only that; it's just that even he can't believe the people in this episode are that stupid. He-Man's sword, for some reason or another, gains tree vaporizing powers.
Hey, where'd that come from?
I don't know. Maybe he got a new sword in the interim. Who knows? Did you notice that the entire mutant invasion that everybody was worried about during this entire episode consisted of 4 people?
Yeah.
I was expecting a planetary invasion. Nope, 4 people. That's it.
Yeah, in the first time I watched it, I thought, and I went back, and I'm thinking, hang on a minute, where was the army in it? I thought I had that thing where you imagine something that was in the episode that actually wasn't in the episode.
No, it was in the episode.
I thought there was just shot with all these ships in the background. There's not. No, there's not.
No. I think at the very beginning they showed all these ships launching, and then we never saw them again.
No, there's one of them you can just crack his glass helmet and he's done.
Yeah, I mean it's just carelessness with the story at that point. And then I mentioned it here. I don't know. This may get me in trouble, but there was this unintentional homoerotic undertone between Adam and Sebrian. And I don't know. Maybe I'm just reading too much. Oh yes, especially in the second episode. The first part where he's just like, "You can live with me. You can be my nephew." Can I really? Yes, you can. I'm not allowed within 500 feet of a school. I have to register with the authorities every time I move. Which, again, I don't mean to be offensive, but I'm just watching that going,
Yeah, baby. Oh, you would not get away with that now. No way would you get away with that.
There's some, I don't know, there's some coding in there if you ask me. And if there's not, then they did it unintentionally, which makes it even more hilarious.
And it comes off like that.
It's kind of a Race Bannon Dr. Quest kind of thing. Where it's like, this is Race Bannon, my man. Is he really Dr. Quest?
Really? Yeah, that's why you're always late for breakfast.
Yeah.
What about And there is some Game of Thrones level stuff going on in this episode, though, right at the end.
Yes,
Skeletor.
there was. There was
Yeah,
quite
right
a
at
bit of
the end,
double
the way
dealing
that
going
Skeletor
on.
handled that's where he's manipulated himself to be second in charge now.
Oh, he's such a great narcissist as well.
Yeah.
Just getting people to do what he wants through manipulation. It was
Yeah.
in an episode where very little was masterfully done. That was masterfully done.
Yeah. He set himself up in a great position by the
Yes,
end of
he
that
did.
episode.
Yes, he
and I
did.
really like that.
I almost want to watch more, but like I said, the second episode, 15
Yeah,
minutes
that
in,
killed me
I was
too.
so bored.
Yeah, no. The first episode was good enough that I was like, you know what, let's kind of go down this rabbit hole a little bit further. But yeah, it wasn't deep, that's for sure. So now we got some messages here, mate. If you don't mind, we might kick into some messages. before
I
we go back
totally
to you, mate.
mind, but go ahead.
Totally excellent. I love it. It's all from the one person. It's all from Joe, our other co-host on
Oh,
our various Star Trek shows. Currently Agony Booth and starting in 2 weeks, season 3 of Lower Decks. Hey fellas, are you going to feature any of the toys that you may still have? Well, you are talking to the right person, Joe. This man here has an unbelievable collection, which you can actually check out in detail on his TikTok. If you
yes,
go
because
to
I have
@JoyCast.
a problem.
Yeah, a good problem, a problem
Yes.
that is enabled quite heavily on this show.
Very much so, yes.
But yeah, he's got incredible, and we might do that. We might actually move forward. It's a great idea, Joe, because what we'll do, maybe we'll feature one of your.
Why was I
figures
not in
each
this
week.
episode?
Yeah, why
I'm
weren't you in that
He-Man's best
episode?
friend.
Yeah, and in charge of the military. So
Yes.
I think he would have gone. Where's he gone? But yeah, like we might do that. We might get you to feature one of your toys each week.
Oh, sure.
Talk about it.
This was always my favorite. Too bad. This is a
Yeah.
vintage toy, by the way. Just
Yeah.
the fact that was their power.
They could beat the crap out of each
They
other.
they hit each other, and I love that so much. I would play with this for hours as a kid.
Yeah. I still can't remember I can't remember ever seeing that in a animated series or anything.
He was there. He
I
was
can
in that.
guarantee he was,
He
yeah.
was in the old series, and he was in the 2000 series.
Wow, can't wait to get to that. We're
Oh,
starting to head
yes.
towards that direction.
And he gets an origin story in the 2000 pre-mold He-Man.
Yeah.
Pre-mold
What do you say?
He-Man.
Pre-mold He-Man.
None of
Oh,
my
you're
He-Man
referring-
are moldy except maybe this one. This one's
Oh no, I think he's referring to how he looks
That one's
in the
kinda-
series. Oh
that
yeah,
one's kinda
that's
moldy.
cool.
this is a slime pit He-Man.
There we go.
Most of my stuff is still in storage because I've got like Garrick. What?
Yeah, like, I think
is,
he's
is he
comparing
is he
here-
drinking?
Skeletor. Is he drinking? You think Skeletor perhaps is kind of like Garrick? That's what I'm thinking you say. But anyway.
Oh, I think maybe coded. You know, whenever we're talking about coding, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Definitely
Yes,
coding
man,
like Garrick.
That is a good point. And in a way, it's very Garrick-like at the end of that episode for him to put.
Oh, sure, I can totally see that
Yep.
because Garrick was kind of sneaky as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But hopefully, whenever I moved into this new place, there's this gigantic 200-gallon fish tank in the front room that is taking up so much space. I'm hoping I can get rid of it and put up my collection there because I have like a Castle Grayskull and I have the Slime Pit and I have a Dragon Walker and I have a Snake
Be
Mountain.
nice to actually outlay them all and get
Yes.
them.
Yes,
presented.
my boys they're tired of being in boxes.
That's the thing, hey. I think that's where we get into when you get into collecting. You get yourself a situation, you have to box them, and then they don't come out. So
Yeah.
any chance you can get to display them and enjoy them, 100%.
Well, I'm
I'm
taking your advice, and I'm actually selling my Funkos on eBay right now.
Yeah.
And once I got started, it was easier. I'm keeping some, but I had like 250 that were in boxes, and I'm just like, why? Why do I do this to myself? They're never coming out. I have no place to put them. I have places to put these guys though, because I love them.
Look, they were great. They were cute. I can understand as someone who collected Funko Pops too. They were fantastic.
I've got a
they
ghost in my
become
room.
A very slippery slope because
They
where
do.
do you stop? And then what purpose do they play? And Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're great because they remind you of a fandom that you're interested in. But I also found, I think I'd actually prefer to actually have the original figures, and that's just my preference. But the other thing with Funko Pops, they're designed to stay in the box. And I've never been that guy. That's why I've never been a good collector, because I open them.
I know. Look at all mine up there.
Yeah, I open them. I want to play with them.
You know, there's a difference between having a collection and having an inventory.
Yeah.
And that's what you have if you leave them in the box. And, you know, if that's you, that's fine, but... Yeah, you've got an inventory, and that's fine if that's what you're you're into.
And like, with someone like He-Man, I can understand why the box is important, because I think the box art is absolutely sensational.
Yes,
but for me, I would still have it out of the box and actually still display the box near it.
Yeah, the only reason why these guys are still in the boxes is just because I don't have my display up. As soon as I have my display up, the boxes are getting ripped open.
Yeah.
And 20 million people are out there going, not one dar! Yeah. Yes, one dar is getting opened.
Yeah. And you won't regret it. Because you would have had it there. And you know what I mean? You collect these things because you had them as a kid. It just seems strange that you put that thin layer of plastic between you and the love you had for that figure as a kid.
Yes, I completely agree.
Yeah, absolutely. So Next week. Where are we headed?
Oh my goodness. Get ready for a reboot done in the right way. It is 2000's He-Man reboot. The tragically short-lived Cartoon Network show. It only lasted 2 seasons. Nowhere near as many episodes as, the New Adventures of He-Man. But it was done so well. It fired on all cylinders. I'm actually bringing it up now
because I didn't know which one you were going to say. I really didn't. So I'm actually bringing it up and have a look at that. He-Man and Master Unit from 2002, is that correct?
Yes, 2002.
Fantastic.
Yes, they are. It is so good.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm going to bring up some images of it. Look like the design is rather substantially different. Let me just share this.
But rooted in the original, and it's not just a complete...
like enhanced, I think is the word I mean to say.
It's kind of like the way that they do Strange New Worlds from Star Trek these days, where you can see the original, the original is there, but at the same time, it's new and it's different. Yes, they changed the sword, but the new sword is so cool.
They did change the sword a little bit. It does look cool, but I really like the design of He-Man.
Yes.
And I definitely like the design of the side characters.
And they really dig into that mythology, too. They give Skeletor a proper origin story. They give He-Man a proper origin story.
Yeah.
They even go into the origin stories of characters like Fisto. And
really?
Oh, yes.
Oh, here we go.
That's from Revelations.
Oh, that's from Revelations.
Yeah.
Is it this one here?
No, it would be the one of the 2002. That's the CGI one, which is good. I'm a defender of the CGI series. I think it's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, obviously there's not a hell of a lot of imagery on it, but that's even better. I look for
there's Orko, and look at the redesign of Teela.
Orko looks. Yeah,
Orko was great, and they do this really cool thing with the O on his chest, because the O was always kind of tacky, but in this series it's like a medallion with a dark circle around it, so the O is still there, but it looks better.
How good does Skeletor look?
Skeletor's great. The voice, the voice they get for him is he kind of copies Alan Oppenheimer, but it works.
Wow.
It works this time. I love the design of Battle Cat. They have some choices with Cringer and Battle Cat that I wasn't crazy about because they don't talk in the series, but it's fine.
That's definitely visually a big upgrade.
But and get ready for a 5-episode premiere arc, but this one's a good one, and you're going to enjoy it.
Should we? Do we say it now? Do I commit to the first 5 episodes?
Yes, you have to commit to the first 5 episodes.
All right, done and done. We will do the first 5 episodes of He-Man and the Master of the Universe from 2002. So this is what? This is 12 years after. This is how long a gap we had between series.
Yes.
12 years.
Longer than that if you didn't know the New Adventures of He-Man even existed.
Right. So, when you think about it, and that surprises me now I think of it, because I always thought there was, even in the 90s, an iteration kind of going on, but clearly there wasn't.
If there was, it will surprise me more than anybody else in the world.
Yeah. Fantastic. Well, I look forward to that.
I do too. I'm ready to revisit the series. I've really been looking for the ones that come after this. You know, the He-Man 2002, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, Revelation, even the CGI He-Man cartoon. Really been looking forward to revisiting them because they're all just so good and they offer something so different from each other, and they're all love letters to the original series.
Magic. You got me excited now. I'm ready to go. All right. Well, until next week, Jason, let the guys know how they can find you on the internet.
You can find me on the internet on OnlyFans. Oh, wait. No, not that. No, don't do that. That's the only one where they pay me to put my clothes on.
Now anyway.
Yeah, they should be. You know.
You gotta.
I'm just kidding. I don't have an OnlyFans yet.
It would be the most wholesome, Mr. Rogers-like OnlyFans ever.
I would be reading Dr. Seuss on there.
You'd be sitting there playing.
Hello, you naughty children. We're going to read The Cat in the Hat.
Exactly. Stimulated and educated.
Oh, dear Lord. No, you can find me on the interwebs at jasonroygaston.com or on TikTok at jasonroygaston. Basically, if you know my first, middle, and last name, you can find me.
Absolutely. And follow his TikTok. It's so much fun to be had there. You can find me just being a stalker on TikTok at DQJason, where I keep thinking I want to start my TikTok channel up, but I can never sell myself on the ideas that I have. Or you can also find me on this channel at Spectrum Sanctorum, where I'm involved in this show, the Star Trek show, She-Hulk show coming up, as well as my other channel, Pop Culture Spread, where I do with my friend Rick, where we do trailer reactions and reviews and all that kind of wonderful stuff. You can find me there. But until next week, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next on The Power of J Skull. Jason, can you give it your best power of J Skull?
By the power of Eternia! Oh, gosh.